Welcome one and all. We're going to start just a couple seconds early, and we'll let people trickle in for the next couple of minutes as we get starting. For those of you that are new here, my name is Mac. I'm the community manager for Dungeon Alchemist. Dungeon Alchemist is what you see in front of you. It is an... Hey, Will, how are you doing? Welcome, welcome. Happy damn Xmas Eve, he says. That's a good one. Happy damn Xmas Eve to you as well. But Dungeon Alchemist, what was I saying, is an AI-powered map-making utility, and it's available on Steam. It allows you to build AI-assisted maps in seconds, or you can, as you see here, build custom maps. This particular map is made by one of our very talented cartographers. His name is Sack. I don't know if he's here right now, but if he is, that'd be awesome for him to be here. But he made this amazing festive market and toy shop, all themed around the holidays, and it's very lovely. We'll take a closer look at it here in a minute. Just wanted to say hi to everyone in chat. So we've got Will, at least. I know there's a few other people here, but it looks like they're lurking, but feel free to say hello if you are here, and we'll start kind of checking this map out and shouting everyone out that is here. Hey, Smash Bear, welcome back. I put some snow on the screen, and I'm like kind of not liking it. I may just put it over my camera, bring it down to like right there, so I'm just snowy. I am feeling much better, actually. I just needed a lot of rest and to give my voice a break. I talk too much. I talk entirely too much, but you know, that's just the nature of being a content creator and a streamer and just a talkative person, I guess. How are you, Smash Bear? What are you up to on this wonderful Christmas Eve stream? So fortuitous that the stream landed on Christmas Eve. Honestly, it's pretty fun and kind of interesting. Just having coffee and cookies. What kind of cookies? That sounds delicious, actually. I'm a little jealous. My wife actually makes this amazing, like a pastry, I guess you could call it. And she calls it a kringler. And it's like a Danish with a chocolate topping, and it is so good. She makes it like every year for Christmas. She's making it right now, so that's what I have waiting for me for later, so I'm excited about that. Do any of you all have any neat holiday traditions that you observe around this time of year? Any fun snacks you make, or any interesting things you do? My sister always makes me a box of treats every Christmas, so all kinds of cookies or desserts. Wow, that's pretty cool, Smash Bear. Kind of jealous, actually. My sister doesn't make me anything. But I guess, you know, my missus makes me lovely snacks, so we're good there. Take a closer look at this map here while we're letting people filter in. I'm gonna drop quality down to like medium just so we get a little bit better frame rate there. Yeah, much better. Honestly, I'm kind of thinking today's stream will be a little bit slower just because it's the holiday and everyone's busy traveling or, you know, on the move, hanging out with their family and friends, or alternatively shopping and working, you know, last minute shopping and working through the holidays. It is a beautiful map. Honestly, like, Sack puts so much effort into his builds, and I love anytime he posts a new map because you could spend so much time going through it. But the thing about this map is he actually posted the Eddie Bear's Toy Shop some time ago, but he remapped it and like redid it for the holidays to give it a more, you know, holiday festive feel. So it's kind of been updated, I guess you could say, to fit that holiday motif. Oh my goodness, we got all sorts of people filing in. It's good. It's good. Welcome, one and all. Oh my gosh, Will. You excited? Gonna be my neighbor basically now, right? Hey, Green Thumb, how you doing? Christmas Eve, Merry Christmas Eve to you, and Christmas. Merry Christmas. You know, honestly, I don't like want to be... I like just wishing everyone their own happy holiday, because everyone's got their holidays they observe, right? Nice, that's cool. So that must be either CenturyLink or, maybe... Who is it? I don't know. Maybe another company is doing it. Is Google drop fiber here? Yeah, I know CenturyLink has it in a few pockets throughout the city. There's one near me, but it isn't my neighborhood. It's like a few blocks north of me, and they haven't ever extended down to my neighborhood. Merry holidays, my friend. Dude, how are you doing, Green Thumb? What you been up to? Hope you're well. Hope you're well. Honestly, like, I'm so happy to be streaming today, even though, you know, we got the holiday just right, you know, tomorrow, and like I know most people are busy either, you know, spending time with family and like shopping, or, you know, obviously working, or, you know, just trying to relax on their holiday. But I am totally stoked to be here with you guys today on stream. It's just fun to do a little holiday stream. Nice, Will, that's awesome. Right now in Vegas, it's not that bad. I mean, some places in the U.S. it's pretty bad, but no, where I live in Vegas, and where we're talking about, because Will is moving here, actually, he told me about it a couple streams back. But yeah, it's much warmer here at the moment. It is a beautiful map. Now we need to take a close look at it, actually, so we can like really get in there, because it is so detailed. That's why this map is so awesome. Can you hear me now? Test, 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 test. Okay, sorry about that. My my PC just unexpectedly crashed, and I don't know what's wrong with it, because temps look fine, everything looks good. I don't know, the last couple of streams we haven't had any issues. Anyway, if for some reason I crash, again, you know why. Just please stick around and please be patient with me. Honestly, I'm sorry about that. That's really random. Okay. Yeah, I am back. That is silly. Sorry about that, everyone. Hopefully we can, you know, avoid this. Just double checking everything on my end to see if there's anything I can do to prevent this, because I don't know what's going on lately. It's just the last, well, no, the last couple streams are good, but the ones before that we had a couple crashes as well. Let's see here. Everything's looking good on my end, so I'm not gonna jinx it. We're just gonna, you know, continue with the stream. Let's open that map back up. Take a closer look. So any of you doing any fun things for the holiday? Have any fun plans with your family and friends and the like? Doing any fun parties for work or family, or traveling, or going to any events or whatever? I'd love to hear about it. My family can't really travel at the moment because my wife is immunocompromised, so we don't really travel and visit with friends or family anymore during the holidays, because it just expands the risk of her getting sick. So yeah, that's the thing. I know I'm at the right frame rate. Everything is at a decent frame rate and like where it should be. I don't know. I gotta look through the crash logs. I will. I will. I will. She's baking some kringlers at the moment. I'm excited to eat some chocolate pastries later. We're gonna have some family time tonight, game as a family, and you know, just hang out and eat snacks and exchange some gifts. Now that my kid's like grown and like older, like a lot of the, you know, traditions and routines that you do with the family as when there's a younger child aren't as like necessary or as common. I found we just don't observe them as much. And so we just kind of like, you know, big gifts we'll give them on Christmas Day, but it's like there's most everything we give each other throughout the month leading up to. Hey, see you later, Will. Have a good one. Anyway, let's take a closer look here. So before we crash, we were going to take a look at this table. You can see here, Sack has set up these tiny little environments, a tiny little garden, a little, you know, kitchen here, little farms, and also like a little like table and yeah, a bedroom. Anyway, he set up these little dollhouse environments. They're really creepy and fun. And you know, he just scaled everything down to a tiny amount of stuff and put it here. That's basically all we do, is just spend time together and enjoy each other's company. I will say I got the kiddo something fun for the holiday that he's been wanting. So he actually got most of his gift already, like his gifts, like a couple months ago, because his computer was going to last till the end of the year and we were going to buy him a new computer, but it started wearing out, having issues, so we built him a new PC and, you know, got it to him. So he's pretty much already got that. You know, that's his gift. He got a new graphics card and a new, you know, some new RAM and a new CPU and all that. But anyway, he's really enjoying that. New motherboard. And he got, you know, an SSD, upgraded from a hard drive to an SSD. He's really happy about that. We, you know, that was kind of the fun thing we did for him, but we had to do it a little bit early because, you know, his computer broke and he needed it. So, that being said, though, there's one other little surprise that I got him, and I got him this cool, oh, my office door is closed, he can't hear. I got him a mini fridge, and we're just loading it with just tons of snacks. So it's like, you know, tons of little drinks and fruit snack, you know, like there's gonna be like apple sauces and little mandarin oranges, and then string cheeses and energy drinks and regular drinks and juice and stuff. Just a bunch of random stuff for him. So he has a little snack place in his room. Anyway, it's kind of a fun little thing we did for him this year. Man, this toy store is ridiculously detailed. Zach is crazy with these details. He goes over, above and beyond every time. There's his little signature. He leaves his name, and you can see Sack there. Funny. Too funny. And there's these little booths out here. So it looks like this one's a statue, little statue, or, you know, whatever, figurine booth. Christmas tree booth. I guess pottery. There's, you know, fabrics, textiles. I'm assuming spices or maybe dyes. And then, oh my gosh, I love the cheese booth. This one's one of my favorites right here. Like all the little cheeses, colors, and different things. It just looks so interesting. Oh, nice. What kind of card did you get? Let's hear about it. Little wine booth, and then wreaths. Oh my gosh, Sack just makes the best detailed maps. A little pastry booth over here. The best part about this map, though, is hidden away over here. It's this little Santa chair. Like Santa's village, where you can sit with Santa and get your picture taken. It's adorable. Gotta love it. Fantastic. Anyway, Using the gingerbread walls here, and then decorated with like ivy and wreaths and stuff. Gifts, and then a big bag filled with gifts. It's actually a little, you know, satchel that has been resized up to a big, huge Santa-sized bag. Looks great. Great detail here. Fantastic for build here. Absolutely love this. Zach did a phenomenal job on this map. I just want to take a second and welcome everyone to the channel. My name is Mac. I am the community manager for Dungeon Alchemist. This is the official channel for Dungeon Alchemist, and if you're not familiar with what Dungeon Alchemist is, it's an AI-powered map-making utility, and it's available on Steam. It allows you to build maps for your tabletop RPG campaigns. So let's say you play D&D or a Pathfinder, etc. You can build fantasy-based maps in moments using our AI-assisted map building, or you can roll up your sleeves and build maps by hand. And as you can see here, this map was actually very, very heavily detailed and curated by hand. So there's both aspects of the, you know, well, I guess both sides of the sword here, you could say, when it comes to building in Dungeon Alchemist, and I think that's what is its strong suit. You can build maps in moments using the AI, and they are pretty decent maps, or they're great little starter, you know, foundations if you want to expand upon it and add a lot more detail, and then build it up by hand. Or you can just have nothing, a blank slate, and build everything by hand. It's really up to you. Anyway, it's a great, great tool. Let's move on to another map here. We're gonna... Jeez. That was a long time ago. That was a long time ago. Let's take a look at recent maps. I really love looking at recent maps. Take a look at this one here from Dirk Van Roy. Lair of the Dragon Worshippers. GTX 780 Ti, at least an upgrade from what I had before. So that's not bad. How long was your brother using it for mining, do you know? Whoa. Out for a second. Oh my, this is fantastic. Whoa. This is a very big map. Dang. Okay, let's get overhead and see how much of this we can see. I am zoomed out as far as I can be right now. So that gives you an idea of how large this map is. Holy cow. Wow. That's crazy. 25 cards. Nuts. Okay. Let's take a look in here from the beginning and just see what we see. So as you can see, it's a very vast canyon network that has obviously been, you know, manipulated a little bit. You have some bridges and stuff about, and like this looks here like it was carved steps. This is a great little like altar area. Interesting. Over here it looks like even a bigger, like a church or chapel, and I love the use of the tents. Very, very interesting use of the curved tents. Here we have what looks like a prison and torture chamber, and the cells are electrified, you can see. That's clever. Very neat. Like bunks. This one looks like a master's chambers, like got a little bit more stuff. A safe, a better bed, rugs, a bath, more privacy. And what is this? You must worship this dragon or dragon skull. Lord Mistress, thank you so much for that follow. Thank you, and welcome to the channel. If you have any questions about Dungeon Alchemist or about this map in particular, feel free to ask, and I'll do my best to answer them for you. Hey, see you later, Green Thumb. You have a happy holidays, dude. Stay safe if you're traveling, and we'll chat later. Have a good one. Little learning area here, like maybe a study. Got all these like desks and the lectern up front here. It's an interesting, like, you know, place for young mages or mages to learn. I love how everything's carved into the stone, but at the same time has flooring. Great use of, you know, carving out the environment, then raising the terrain to match it and fill it really well. Dirk Van Roy did a great job. Here we have what appears to be a portal of sorts. Man, this map is huge. I mean, this could be quite a few encounters or sessions, you know, for a D&D table. We've got quite a few people here. I'm curious. Oh my gosh, Streamlabs just crashed again. Anyway, my Streamlabs just crashed. I don't know what's going on with my stream software today. Let's just hope we don't get another crash before the end of the stream. And I apologize for that. It's twice today. The stream's crashed inside of an hour. Everything appears fine on my end. I'm wondering if maybe I need to just go through and just check for updates everywhere and make sure everything's good, but there's no reason it should be crashing. And I, again, apologize for that. Anyway, let's move on with the stream here and hopefully not have any more issues. Is anyone still here with me? I know we've crashed like twice today, so I'm sure people have just disconnected or left, etc. Awesome, Smash Bear, thank you. Guess I don't know what's going on with my computer. It seems my computer, like every test I run seems fine. I've done memory tests, I've done like file checks, I've done like all sorts of stuff to see if it's the PC. I don't know. Anyway, I might switch from using Streamlabs to something else because I think it's been causing problems. Anyway, question: Who all has been working on their Dam Challenge entries? Or who all has submitted an entry to the Dam Challenge so far? Hey, Starseeker, how you doing? Merry Christmas and a happy holiday to you, my friend. Hope you're well. I like this little side room. Excuse me. Happy holidays to you all. I honestly am so excited for, you know, just everyone who celebrates the various holidays to enjoy time with their family and friends and, you know, just enjoy time away from, you know, the stress and just enjoy some time, you know, for once. Seems like the last few years have been really rough on a lot of people, and I'm just glad it's holiday times for a lot of people. They get to enjoy themselves, you know? Yeah, thank you. I honestly have just been... Oof, my cat, I think he just like sheds all over and like fluff goes everywhere, and it just triggers my sneezing. This map is stunning. Absolutely beautiful. This was made by Dirk Van Roy. Let's hop into first person and just take a look. See how long it takes to hobble around it. It is just huge. I could see spending a lot of time. You know, I honestly have not considered that since I started my new build. So it's possible that could be an issue. That and Streamlabs both need to be run in admin mode. Hey, Crimson. Yeah, Swedish cook, dude. You did a good job. I always forget you go by 2 different names. It's Dirk and that. That's right. How you doing, Crimson Rockstar? Glad you made it. Finally catching a stream. Huzzah! Yep. But yeah, it's labeled under Dirk Van Roy, Lair of the Dragon Worshippers. Oh, it's fine. It's fine. You're also confusing in Discord because I think you change your name sometimes. When I go to look for you when you like won, or like when I showed your map on stream. Like today, I'm gonna have to put you in the stream recap later. Oh my gosh, yeah, this map is very amazing, Crimson Rockstar. This is very, very good work. Honestly, it appears like our friend Swedish Cook put some serious time into sculpting the environment here and catering it to make it look very beautiful. Let's drop a little Mac in there, a mini Mac. We'll take a look in first person and run around. This gives me straight up Solasta or like Baldur's Gate vibes, though, the way the map's designed. Like, it has a flow to it, that an area you're supposed to kind of follow, but there's extra areas to explore and check out at the same time. So, Swedish Cook, what's your plans for this? Are you, I'm assuming you're going to be using this for your table in some way. I really love running around. Oh, Dungeon Alchemist just crashed. Well, at least it's not the stream, huh? Well, at least now we can, yeah, I'm gonna just open it again. Looks like a crazy dungeon run. It's available now. You can place tokens and run around right now, bro. So as long as you update Dungeon Alchemist, you click, as long as your Dungeon Alchemist is up to date, over here on the left side, you just click on the token icon. You see my mouse here? And then you can place any of the free tokens, and then you can click on the token and click the icon, as I like to call it, the eyeball icon, or icon, as I say. And then this puts you in first-person mode. Or, alternatively, you can click this camera. You can also click this camera in the top right to go into cinematic mode. I call it drone mode because you essentially are flying around a little drone camera that you can move up and down, left, right. You can use your mouse to kind of guide it. And then you can take screenshots or record in this mode and then tell it where to save them. But I love these types of questions. There's no fixed update. They just said they're hoping for January release at this point sometime. I do have some teaser content, though, that we can share with you today if anyone's interested. Oh, nice. Welcome to the community. So this is your first official stream with us, then? I see you're a first-time chatter. Well, welcome to the community. Also, Crimson Rockstar, I noticed you followed a few minutes back. Thank you for that. Much appreciated. Yeah, can we get a warm welcome to our newest member in our community here? Crimson Rockstar and Abro. But, yeah, there's so much that there is to Dungeon Alchemist that, you know, there's little ins and outs that you could miss. Especially if you're new to it. Even longtime users don't know a lot of little things that I learn new stuff all the time, and I've used it over 900 hours now. So, honestly, it's kind of one of those things that, you know, you just kind of, the more you poke around, the more you learn. So, let's go back to the Steam Workshop. I'm sure you've looked around in the Steam Workshop, right, Abro? So you click Steam Workshop up here in the top and hit Browse. You can then use a search term. So let's say you want a castle. So anybody who happened to put castle in their title or in their description, it'll find it. Or let's say you just want to search by most recent, which is what I love to do. That's how we found this map that we were looking at a moment ago by Dirk Van Roy, or Swedish cook, actually, to be confusing. Let's look at this. Let's see. Yeah, this one looks fun. Gerbil of the Cafeteria made this Executioner's Run. Built to represent Executioner's Run in Port Nyanzaru from the Tomb of Annihilation module. Interesting. Let's see how it looks. But honestly, I'm excited to have new members in the community today. Welcome, welcome. If you have any questions about Dungeon Alchemist, how to use it, or about our development, or you just have any general questions, or you have suggestions or any feedback, even, let me know and I'll do my best to answer your questions as well as convey your feedback to the devs. Like I said, this is the official Dungeon Alchemist stream, and I'm actually the community manager. My name is Mac, so welcome to our community. And, like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to ask away. These streams are AMA format, which means ask me anything. Okay, so let's take a look at this. I love this. Oh my gosh. So it's just like people can watch while people have to run through this gauntlet at the bottom. Oof. That is gruesome. I have not played Tomb of Annihilation, so I am not familiar with that module or anything to it. So, keep in mind when I explain the next little bit here, Crimson Rockstar, Dungeon Alchemist was designed to be a map maker that you use and design maps that you export for either printing or for your VTT of choice. And VTT means virtual tabletop, if you're not familiar. So, Foundry, Fantasy Grounds, Roll20, etc. But that hasn't stopped our community from being incredibly creative, and also from constantly requesting features that will make Dungeon Alchemist work as a digital play environment, or a virtual tabletop in a limited capacity. So just to give you an idea, there's a streamer here on hey Dirty Rollers, how you doing, buddy? Welcome and happy holiday to you, and thank you for the well wishes and the happy holiday love. There's a streamer here on Twitch. His name is Xcentric, EXE-centric. I'm gonna pull up his channel link really quick. But he's on occasion uses Dungeon Alchemist with his players as a virtual tabletop, and he basically just controls all their movement for them, and then kind of puts them in certain areas where, oh my gosh, Dungeon Alchemist just keeps crashing. What is going on today? That is seriously like the third time something in my software has crashed today. I apologize. This is not typically normal. I honestly might need to go through and do something with my PC and just see if everything's all right. Anyway, we're going to get back into this, man. Oh, it's not the end of the world, but it's a bummer. I hate when I'm live and my stuff crashes, because that's like, I'm doing a live production, and imagine you're watching, like, TV and it just stopped working. You'd be like, oh gosh, okay. Anyway, there's the link for the streamer that I was talking about a moment ago, Xcentric, and he DMs a session where there's, 5 or 6 players, and he drops their Hero Forge tokens in, and, I know, but it's just frustrating, especially when you're watching a live service. And I prefer not to crash, Anyway, so, as you can see, like, he basically will drop their tokens in and move them around for them. I'll kind of demonstrate what he does, and he'll describe the environment, but because they're in this environment, they can see way better, and then they can ask, hey, can I get a first-person view of this area? And he'll just click on their token and look around for them on their turn. But I think they use D&D Beyond to manage all the, you know, character sheets and roles and stuff like that, and basically he just moves them through the environment, and I believe he also hides the UI like this. So essentially, just under view, you can hide the UI, and so that way, during a stream, you know, if you have a bunch of tokens placed like that, then, you know, basically your players just kind of see this 3D environment that they're placed in. And so when it's the player's turn, they'll be like, yeah, I want to move over here. And he's like, okay, here you are. And he moves them up and then lets them do their stuff. Anyway. Yeah, now, Steam does allow the ability to allow you to remotely access Steam Remote Share or Remote Play. So with Dungeon Alchemist, you can remotely share it with one person. They can link up and control your Dungeon Alchemist and build in it. Or if you Steam share with that person, they can also use Dungeon Alchemist, but that's a little bit whole different ball game and way more complex. But the remote play allows one player at a time to access the game, so if you want them to move their own tokens, that's one way to do it. You know, that's a question that's been asked a lot, Mamo, or Mamor. Mamoru K. I honestly, I don't want to butcher your name. Mamaruk? Mamo. Got it. Sorry. I apologize. So, that's a question that's been asked a lot, and I will say this. Let's just say Asian architecture or of that style wasn't any of our stretch goals that we promised. We never, ever promised any of that type of architecture in any of our expansions. So, that being said, it has been requested quite a bit, and I could see a theme of that styling be something that we do as a paid expansion later, after we've released all of our stretch goals for our Kickstarter. So, during our Kickstarter, we hit all of our goals and above and beyond. All of those stretch goals are free patches, free updates to Dungeon Alchemist that come out periodically. So the last one was Fata Morgana, the one before that, Abandoned Ruins. So our upcoming update, which is Winter Wonderlands / The Floor is Lava, is 2 stretch goals in 1. However, the update has been kind of delayed and rolled back a little bit as they scale based on what they found they can, you know, keep up with and deliver on successfully and at the quality we like to release it at. And most of the content coming out will be the Winter Wonderlands update. So our next update will feature, you know, winter and tundra biomes, that kind of stuff. So, I will say for now, Mamo, anything that is like an Asian culture, Asian heritage, Asian design, anything that is from, you know, that region would be something that if we do it, it would be later. And also it's something that we also have to approach very delicately, because we want to make sure that we're not doing any weird cultural appropriation or saying anything that could be considered insensitive. You know what I mean? So it's kind of tricky from a business standpoint. We need to make sure that we deliver content that is... I believe that more than likely at that point, since we're out of early access, it would be something as DLCs on Steam. So imagine like a cyberpunk DLC that is like a huge pack of assets, environment types, and, you know, just a bunch of biomes all in one, and it's like that whole theme, and it's a huge expansion for Dungeon Alchemist. Now, I'm not speaking to that as an authority 100%, that's how it would work, but that's how I imagine it functioning, based on what the devs have said in the past, and the information I've heard from them. So, I play a game called Legend of the Five Rings, so something like that would be awesome. Definitely not as popular as more middle fantasy, but would be nice. I totally understand that. And you know, that's the struggle when trying to find the map maker that works for you perfectly. Is, you know, you try to find that one that'll fit every niche of your place, you know, all the games you play and all the tabletop environments you use as a, you know, a game master. And honestly, I personally would love to have every environment for Dungeon Alchemist to suit every game master's needs. It's super hard to do that, though, from a business standpoint. There's just so much content, tabletop content out there. And that's why I feel the focus we have right now is on fantasy and all of our stretch goals tied to the fantasy themes, because it tends to cover a huge amount of content. Now, there has been a ridiculous amount of requests for, you know, like steampunk, modern day, cyberpunk, you know, Asian themed content all over the board in those areas. And I do see the devs, you know, taking that to heart constantly. They see your guys' recommendations, the upvotes, etc. And they know that you guys want those things with Dungeon Alchemist's ability and flair. So it's just a matter of time, you know. If anything, maybe it would just be a whole new Alchemist app or an expansion, for sure. You know what I mean? So like a few months ago on our Facebook stream, when we used to stream on Facebook once a week, I had Vim there for an interview, and Vim specifically was asked this question: is, will we get, you know, cyberpunk content? It's one of the highest upvotes is cyberpunk content. And he said, you know, we see that. We want to deliver on all our stretch goals first and leave early access. And then at that point, we would consider doing something like a paid expansion. So that's directly from the horse's mouth. You know, it can't get any more accurate than that. Oh, by the way, our music, did you see that your map was the Dam of the Day yesterday, my guy? How you doing, by the way, brother? Yeah, I would imagine so. You know, you have a lot of different, you know, themes that are, you know, it was top-notch work, my friend, and I love the build. I'll be opening it here soon. We'll check it out. Sorry, I got a little distracted talking about Dungeon Alchemist stuff while we were demonstrating Dungeon Alchemist. Let me see if I can fall in the hole. Nope. Hey, be safe. Please don't be watching while driving, my man. I would appreciate it if you just turned off the stream while you're driving. Unless you're like, you know, a passenger, of course. I just don't want anyone getting hurt watching the stream. It's not worth it. You know what I mean? Don't drive and watch the stream. Don't use power tools and watch the stream. No, you are totally fine. That is not a sidetrack at all. Honestly, that is like the best kind of question. These types of things are things the community likes to know and wants to know. And it was a very good question. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Mamo. Let's see here. Let's open up a new map here. Go for it. Honestly, like, I love questions. Ask the viewers that are here pretty regularly. Like, I answer questions nonstop on the stream. I have no problem answering them. That's what I'm here for. Like, I'd be a horrible community manager if I didn't try my best to answer your questions. Let's see here. Did the music stop? Yeah, it did. Being cheeky, huh? This guy. Oh my goodness. So, I'm kind of feeling like maybe we should do a giveaway. You know, the holidays are right upon us, and I've got a bit of the holiday spirit. Honestly, I don't know, Swedish Cook, because the devs tend to pick the stretch goals after That one's a good one, actually. Hey, Remy, how are you? So basically, the devs will pick which stretch goal we're going to do next after they finish it. They usually have like a team meeting and then they decide. So that isn't even known until after this next one's done, basically. The terrain tool is your best friend, honestly, and once you jump from like AI-generated structures to hand-built structures and hand-generated AI, or hand-generated terrain, not AI terrain, you will start seeing, you know, a crazy difference in the detail and what you can put into your maps. So one thing a lot of people ask when I post these hand-built maps is, how do you do round structures? Wait, I didn't know there was round structures. All across our socials, that gets asked constantly. Wait, you guys had an update? There's round structures have been in since the, I don't know, like end of June in our abandoned ruins update. But the thing is you have to put them in by hand. You have to scale them and place them by hand. And as a result of which, it is a little bit more difficult. Combine that with using the collision toggle, you could start putting all sorts of objects together, stacking them, etc. In the middle of nowhere for Christmas, dealing with the fallout of the freeze. Oh my gosh. Are you safe right now? That makes me worry. I'm worried about you, Remy. Are you okay? Ugh, travel during the holidays and then the freeze. Look at this one right here. Look at this structure here. Seriously, our music, how much time did you put into this? Multi-tier structure. Love it. Absolutely love the design. And I love like all the battle damage here. Our music, oh, I told him. It's very beautiful, my friend. You did top-notch work. And this is a great example of like what you can accomplish with Dungeon Alchemist by hand if you're willing to, you know, go through and dedicate that much effort and time to it. It's possible. It's a very beautiful map. Stunning. Stunning build. Like, I honestly, like, oh my gosh. And Dungeon Alchemist crashed again. What is going on today? We'll just blame it on my computer. Is FBX support or export going to be a thing? So, I'm assuming... No, I'm not on the test build. That's the thing. Well, actually, you know what? That's a good question. I shouldn't be on the test build. One moment. Nope, I'm not. I'm in a regular old build. So we're not gonna have any kind of like 3D export where you can do 3D printing, at least anytime soon that I'm aware of. I will say that mainly it's because our assets aren't really designed with that in mind. They're designed to be viewed in a top-down. They're designed to be, you know, like... it's hard to explain fully and articulate my thought here. What I'm trying to get at is basically our maps are designed to be interacted with differently. And that's because VTTs usually flatten the image and do it from a 2D top-down perspective. I know a lot of people want to be able to export, and a lot of people have asked for it. A lot. But the problem is this stuff isn't designed for that. It also isn't really designed for custom 3D import either, but that is something we're working towards as well. As you can see, we added like Hero Forge, and that was kind of our first step. Well, Hero Forge and Steam Workshop are our first steps towards allowing, you know, the community to import custom assets in the future. But custom, like exporting for 3D printing the environment is something that I don't see happening anytime soon. And if it does happen, it would probably be way down the road. Mostly because I just feel like the meshes, the designs, they're all not really meant for that. Yeah, exactly. So, like, for instance, let me give you an example of what I mean by that. Because I actually do a lot of 3D printing myself, and I'm assuming that's what your end game is here, right, Mamo? Am I... Okay, so let me just say, I do a ton of 3D printing. I have 3 3D printers, 2 FDM and 1 resin 3D printer. And I specifically asked one of our designers, our asset artists, to make to get me a file of our mascot. His name's Hendrik of the Pits, and Hendrik is a little little demon that is like on the loading screen when you load Dungeon Alchemist, and he's on a lot of our social networks and stuff. He's all over the place. Anyway, I asked for a model of him, and they sent me the model, and the model wouldn't work for 3D printing because A, it had way too many polygons, so no 3D printing software, no slicing software would recognize it because it was way too big of a file. So I had to have them downscale it. Then they downscaled it, and I had to have them go through and like remove certain aspects of it that couldn't be 3D printed but were present in the design, and or add surfaces and textures in places, because when you're designing for something like Dungeon Alchemist, you don't take into account that it may want to be 3D printed later, and as a result of which the asset isn't, you know, it isn't really meant for it, or clean, or has all of its surfaces, etc. It depends on the job, really, Swedish cook. You know what I mean? Hey, everyone, I hope everyone is having a wonderful damn season. I'm having a wonderful damn season. How about you, NS man? So, I love resin printers for small, detailed jobs. They have the best detailed prints. You can get incredibly fine quality prints for like little caricatures, miniatures, etc. They're optimized, but for top-down viewing, not for 3D printing or for exporting for a 3D environment. They're heavily optimized for the use that we have them for right now. In fact, the files are tiny. The average map is like only, you know, a handful of kilobits. Like maybe a half a megabyte in most cases, the average map. Exactly. So they're optimized for this virtual environment, and then they're optimized for top-down viewing in VTT environments. That's where they have like the absolute best detail in most cases. However, a lot of our assets you can view at almost any angle and still look great, but then when you go to print it, it'll be a totally different story. Gotcha, yeah, optimized for STL, not at all. So, like, I bought, like, a Gundam file on, like, one of those cult, like, 3D sites, you know, like the 3D, where people sell their 3D art or whatever, and it said it was optimized for 3D printing, but when you get it, like, half of the mesh, like, faces are missing, and so it's, like, hollow on one side of the body, and so it's not optimized for 3D printing. But yeah, you get what I'm talking about, and so... Like, it's just kind of, you would run into that issue where some of the meshes that are designed to, like, give it a shade, or shading areas and stuff like that would be, like, an area where the print would have a hole or something. It just wouldn't work correctly at this time. But that is a good question. Thank you for asking it. Let's see here. So, Remy, I'm glad you're at least safe. As you said, you know, you guys lost your main network power and there's leaks and other stuff, but at least, you know, you're safe for now, and that's good, and you're with family, and hopefully you're through the worst of it. Here, let's see. Let's go open up. All right, I'm just taking a look through here to see if we can find another map. Oh, I did, actually. You want to see one? I guess that, you know, seeing as it's the holiday, you know what? We'll do a giveaway and we'll do a preview. Sound good? I usually do giveaways at 50 viewers, but I'm feeling like being a little generous. Yeah, it's nice this time of year. Honestly, like, it surprisingly hasn't snapped into, like, the cold that, like, the rest of the U.S. has. It's been really nice. Like, I mean, the other night, we just went for a family walk in our neighborhood after dark. It's not that cold. That would mean she has to get paid for So, I personally love to do fan builds myself, Starseeker. Remember, you must be following the stream if you want to enter. Oh, actually, no. Guess not. Nah, F it. Just enter. Go ahead. Hey, if you already own it, you can give it to, you know, a DM friend or whoever. Exactly. Just, you know, if you already have a copy, like I said, give it to a friend or family member or, you know, a DM you love and cherish for all of their creativity and want to give them another tool to channel that creativity. So back to what I was saying, Starseeker. When I lack inspiration, there's some things I do. Certain things help. I will, look at builds in the community, and they help a ton. Your build is incredibly inspiring, so that's one thing. Two, I will look at architecture online, whether it's modern architecture or ancient or like architecture, and look at old, you know, castles and stuff like that, or buildings for inspiration. My last one is I will basically look at like designs in like pop culture and then make something like that. That's usually when I can't find something that I want to design from scratch. I will look at pop culture and make like a fan build. Honestly, it's probably good that you don't enter as a moderator, so. Part of me wants to restart this giveaway because I missed something in the setup for it, so. I forgot to add a claim command for it, so, like, it could be problematic. Anyway. Another thing, too, is sometimes it's fun to just start a build that you have no idea where you're going with it, Starseeker. Have you ever tried that before? Where you basically will put up a build, or, you know, you just kind of start with something and just kind of see where it goes. Does that make sense? And some of my best builds have started that way. Where I have no idea where it's going to go, and then it eventually gets there. See here. Let's take a look at this one here. Nomad Camp Oasis. Same way, honestly. I started the mine with the intention of proving the community wrong. So I can't remember which mod it was at the time. I wasn't even the community manager at the time. And I was like, I could have sworn I asked something along the lines of, or someone else asked along the lines of, is it possible to build caves? And one of the mods was like, no, you can't do that. And I was like, challenge accepted. So I just tried it. Wanted to see if it was possible. And I sat down and I started tinkering around with the, you know, with the terrain tool primarily. That's the main thing, was tooling around with how it functioned and how it fluctuated. And at the time, it wasn't powerful at all. To raise the terrain took forever. It was so slow. Those were dark times, in the before 4 times. So basically, you know, making that map, looking back on it, it was a nightmare to make with the tools that we had at the time. We lacked a collision toggle. You know, the collision toggle didn't exist. A lot of, you know, the assets that were like in Abandoned Ruins or Fata Morgana, you know, that could have helped in the design didn't exist. You know, we didn't have first-person mode. Oh, it took me a good probably 20-ish hours to sculpt it all and do it all, but I enjoyed it, and it was very therapeutic and cathartic at the time too, because A, I was proving, you know, people wrong that I could do this build, and secondly, it was a good stress relief because I had just found out that a campaign that I was very excited about was gonna not happen anymore. So I was kind of bummed, and I just got to building. It was fun, you know? Sure, let's do it. So, I'll show you just really quickly. Let's do, grasslands as our base, and I'll explain why in a minute. And then I'm going to raise it to mountaintop as room placement, so as much as the terrain... Actually, no, we're going to raise it, lower it to water level, so we have a lot of room to build. So your room placement at water level means that the rooms you place are at water height, which is a fixed height in the builds. Plateau height is a little bit higher than that. Mountaintops is higher than that. So if you've put your build level at the lowest in a cave, that gives you the most room to build. So the first thing I do when I'm wanting to build a cave is I just generate a blank map, kind of like I've done here. And then I open up the terrain tool, and I set my brush size to max and brush strength to max. And then I just go to here and I raise the terrain to the ceiling, okay? That's as high as it can go. See that flat kind of plateau there? Once you're at that height, it's very easy to just select the flatten terrain tool and then just follow it. What it does, the flatten terrain tool, is whatever the most terrain like area is represented in that circle when you start the click and hold it, it will flatten at that area. So if I'm doing it down here, it'll flatten to the lower area, but if I'm doing it up here, it'll flatten to the raised area. And you could just go across the map and quickly, you know, raise the terrain up. And as you can see, this actually will take a minute or two, but back in the day, this used to take like a good 20-30 minutes to do. And I actually went ahead back in the day and made templates to speed this up. Cave building templates where I've raised the terrain up and already colored it and set it up for caving or cave building, and that would save a lot of time in this instance too, is just opening up a template, but I wanted to show you how to do it from scratch. Yeah, so there already are templates that you can download in the Steam Workshop for free. If you search cave templates, actually Tian Bao went through and made a bunch of them and put them there, and I used to share them in our Discord before. But basically they're pre-raised terrain at, like, there's a 20 by 20, 25 by 25, 30 by 30, 40 by 40, 50 by 50, and the terrain's raised up all the way and already painted into rock. But as you can see, this process is actually much faster than it used to be, because of the, you know, the brush size and brush intensity. This is actually going very fast. You used to actually have to go at, like, very slowly. You know, it goes at the speed I'm going basically at the moment, which is nice. So keep in mind, you could go download the templates, and I'll show you those. I'm pretty sure we could find them pretty easily. But I like to use the terrain tool, and I don't get to use it enough, so. I actually have a tutorial for this on our YouTube, but I need to update it because a lot of our tools have been updated and streamlined. Been a lot of quality of life improvements that would make it easier to build. Congratulations, Quiff Naval Gazer. You just got to claim that prize and you win. Okay, so after you have raised the terrain to its peak, you notice on the side here it's very, very tall, right? And you can then pick a stone type. So let's say you wanted this stone, right? And then you can just paint the ground. Oh my gosh, I thought I had it at max size from before. I'm dumb. It went back down when I switched over. I'm silly. Anyway, you quickly just paint over the terrain to make it a stone, which allows you to, you know, give off the impression of a cave or a mine more easily than, say, grass, you know? And then at this point, it really just comes down to a couple of techniques to carve out the environment. So, anyway, now you can then go to the terrain editor here, and you can do like lower terrain or flatten terrain to room height. Set your brush size a little bit tighter, and then it'll start carving in down to where a room would build. And as you can see here, it's got a flat floor. Now, assuming you don't want it to be 100% flat, you could, you know, just do the lower or raised terrain, etc. You could also carve up from this point, and it's a little intense, it's kind of hard. But using like the smooth terrain, you could make angles. You flatten terrain to kind of raise it up and have steps that they can climb, etc. Hey, Pixelated Bunny, how are you? So there's several ways you could start carving this cave. This is one, by hand using the terrain brush. which, depending on the intensity you're carving at, you know, can take, you know, a few minutes to quite a bit of time. Or, alternatively, hey, Quiff, give me 1 second and I'll get you your code here. I saw you ask about that in Discord the other day. Give me 1 second. I thought that maybe you got an answer, but I'll do my best to try and come up with something for you. Give me 1 second. I'm showing how to build a cave first, and then we'll do that if you can stick around for a little bit, Bunny. 1 second. Quiff, I just, Navel Gazer, I just, whispered you the code. Could you verify you got that, DM from me? And also, just make sure the code works. I get a list of codes, and sometimes I accidentally give away the same code twice, so I verified it should work, so you should be able to redeem it just fine. It should be okay. Just make sure you should be able to get it installed. You're good. Okay, good to go. You got the DM at least. That's good to go. Cool. But yeah, go redeem it, get it installing, get using Dungeon Alchemist right away. Or if you already own it, you can give it as a gift to a friend or family member, or you know, your favorite DM. Anyway, okay. So as you can see, this is kind of like the hand carving method, right? Using the terrain tool. And then, using the terrain tool, and then going through either raise, lower, flatten, whatever. And that's one way. The other to carve is to put a room in that area. So let's say you wanted to carve a temple right here. And you could, you know, put the shape you want it to be before you generate it. Maybe put a little hallway over here with like an extended little offset chamber. And there we go. Now that immediately carved that room into there at room height that I chose, the room height I chose before. So basically, as you can see here, it quickly and effectively carved this room out, and it actually sculpts the terrain around it pretty cleanly as well. But you can actually go into the terrain tool and set it to, say, flatten terrain like we did earlier, and set your brush size and strength up. And as long as you start at the flattened terrace area before you start flattening this, you could bring it in flush to the wall, so it seems like it was, you know, hand carved, man-made. You know, maybe this was a carved structure, you know, like a burial tomb or a mine or whatever. So there's two ways to carve, you know, your mines and tunnels out really effectively using the tools available in Dungeon Alchemist. As you can see here, I just quickly brought the walls in around this structure. Looks a lot cleaner when you do that. At least to me it does. That's personal preference, I guess. Does that answer your question, Mamo? So there's two ways you can kind of carve this out, as I said. So right here, I could do like flatten to room height, like a little cave tunnel that leads to a door here, for instance. And I could just delete this window and put a door. Something like this, like a broken arch. So it really fits into a whole cave. You cannot change the room height mid-build, so the AI room height is fixed from what you set when you generate the room, or generate the map in the very beginning, right here under room placement. However, that being said, shouldn't discourage you from having rooms at any height if you use the terrain tool. Let me show you what I mean. So in our Steam workshop, if you own Dungeon Alchemist or you have Steam, you can get on Steam Workshop and browse our maps. If you own Dungeon Alchemist, you can download any of the maps and use them for free in your campaigns or repurpose them or whatever. But if you don't own Dungeon Alchemist, you can only look at the maps, you know, and just check them out and see their descriptions. So you can just look at like the screenshots of them. So this is the map we were talking about earlier, DwarvenProspectorMine, that I made some time ago. And so room height is kind of this flat area you see here with the railroad track on it. But as you can see, I didn't really let that discourage me from having multiple heights throughout the build. I put catwalks, you know, adding more verticality, and also carved out, you know, terraces. It's manual if you want different heights, but you can only put certain objects above and below the heights that the build height is at. So let me reiterate what I'm saying here. So you can only draw rooms, the AI generated rooms, and the walls and floors for them on this height that you set when you generate the map. But objects under the object panel here can be placed at almost any height. And a lot of cartographers, including myself, take advantage of this. So I have built, you know, crazy, you know, I call this Goblin Town over here, where it's like a crazy network of scaffoldings to mine this area out. I've also carved out, you know, flat, you know, terrain using the terrain editor, and I put in these little poles that kind of simulate like a mine shaft. So you can really go through and have a lot of fun making a cave, but it will take a lot of your time. I used AI initially to carve out a lot of the floor, and then I went through and changed the floor tiles to natural rock. As you can see here, you can actually, like, a lot of these can be changed to a rock, and then I went over that and I've put, you know, moss and dirt and stones and mushrooms and all sorts of stuff to really make it have that natural cave environment. Now, Bunny, one thing you were asking is how to make it seem like a sunken city or like a collapsed city. In this build, you can kind of see how I would do that personally. The max depth and height is fixed no matter what. It's just the build height you put stuff at is where you can generate rooms. So that's where you can use the AI to draw a room. So in this build, I have like a couple of drawn rooms, like this one over here. So if you want an AI generated room with like the walls and other stuff, you have to, it would only be at the height you set at. But the depth, the max depth and max height is fixed regardless. The map has a max height and a max depth no matter what. So, yeah, I'll show you how I accomplish this, okay? So we're going to go to a new map and to show Bunny how I would show a collapsed building, for instance. So, yeah, just generic. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, we did the giveaway. Let's do a teaser, okay? 1 second. I gotta go find it on the computer. I guess it's good that I've kept you here longer. What do you think of that? Look at all those pots and pans. We got a canteen. We've got various kettles. I like the leather strap there. More camping gear, for sure. Preview over. Hey, we'll see you back. Hey, Shordar, how you doing? Welcome, welcome. 1 second here. I'm gonna just peek out my door. All right. Nah, that's, for now, that's what I've got to show you. Okay, let me do the thing I was gonna do. So first things first, I would probably start by generating a structure of some sort. So let's just generate like a farmstead house, okay? Now, I know we have abandoned ruined floors that are wood and stone that kind of look decrepit and worn out, you know what I mean? So we have a couple options, but that wood floor, we have some collapsed options and holes that really give that semblance of like it's collapsed or breaking. So we're gonna start with hardwood as the base, and I'll just use like this one here. And I'm gonna draw a hardwood floor, okay? Now, if you want to simulate a natural disaster like an earthquake happening in real time in your builds and in your VTT, you're going to need to have two maps. You're going to need a before map and an after map, okay? So your first map, Bunny, are you still here? I want to make sure you're hearing this because you're the one that wanted to learn that. Yeah, General Kenobi. Good, awesome. Yes, this is an official dungeon. This is the official Dungeon Alchemist channel. My name is Mac. I am the community manager for Dungeon Alchemist, and this is our official streams. We do these streams every Saturday. They're called Damn Streams, aptly named because when you save a map in Dungeon Alchemist, it's saved as a .dam is the file extension. So damn, we say give a damn. Damn streams, you know, all that. We lean into it a little bit, you know. But basically, every Saturday at noon, 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. UTC, we do a stream here on Twitch. We showcase community-made maps that are on our Steam workshop, as well as we do contests like our Damn Challenge. We host a bi-weekly map-making challenge. The current one is themed Festive, and basically you use that theme to build a map and submit it on our Discord and in our Damn Challenge section of our Discord. And if your map is chosen as the winner, you get bragging rights. Your map is the first map featured on our next Damn stream, and you win a $10 Hero Forge gift card. That is awesome. That is awesome. So, you know, welcome to our community, first off. We've got a lot of new people in the community, so you took advantage of that sale, I'm guessing then, huh? I'm glad you got a deal. And for those of you wondering, actually, Dungeon Alchemist is on sale right now. It's 20% off on Steam. It's the Steam winter sale, and it'll be on sale through, I think, January 5th. But anyway, if you are looking to get a deal, now is the time. Make sure you snag it up. But yeah, welcome to the community. You found the right stream. Make sure you hit that follow button so you can catch the streams in the future, because it's a great way to learn. We're actually teaching a tutorial now to simulate a map that has maybe sunken in from a collapse, like maybe a sinkhole or like a tunnel collapsing below it, or an earthquake or something of that nature. So we're going to do that right now, and you're welcome to watch and learn with us. And these streams are great for that because every week we showcase cool maps and how to build them, or I answer questions on the stream. The streams are kind of an AMA format. Hey, Distal, how you doing? Welcome, welcome. But the whole point of these streams is to teach the community what is possible in Dungeon Alchemist and help you learn more about it. So you've come to the right place. It's a great place to download and learn about Dungeon Alchemist. So welcome, Fjordar. Did I say your name there right? I hope I didn't butcher it. Highland Lass, how are you? Welcome, welcome. Okay. Gonna be lurking and learning. That's fine with me. Hold on, I need to get some music on before I start. Okay. Okay. Good. Oh my gosh, it seems like everyone's having all sorts of outages, power outages, internet outages, etc. Well, I'm glad you're here, Highland Lass. I'm sorry. Earlier, my stream crashed like 2-3 times, and it was like Streamlabs would crash, Dungeon Alchemist would crash. It's all been, but that's like nothing compared to weather issues. Okay, so let's say you wanted to simulate this map. This room had a collapse in it, okay? So you would export the map as is right now, okay? And so basically you would go to File, Export. So let's say you wanted it for Fantasy Grounds. You would hit Fantasy Grounds. You would set all your export settings and then export it. And that would give you the image of the map before the collapse, right? So that would be where your players are at before the collapse happens, right? Now, what you're going to want to do, and this is your workflow, you're going to want to go to File and hit Save As, right? So now you have the first map that is not broken, right? So you would just have the first one saved as just the original, and then you would start a new one by hitting Save As. And in this case, we would go to, sorry, I have a dam repository is what I call it. So let's just say Earthquake 1, we're going to save that one, and then we're going to do another one, save as Earthquake 2. The reason you want 2 files is the before and the after. So the second one is where you start making the edits for the collapse. So what you're going to want to do, first step, I would take this table, just move it to the side. We can bring it back later, or parts of it at least. You're going to want to go to the Draw Room tool here in the top left, and you hit the negative or Remove Room tool. Okay, and then you can start drawing in sections of this room that you want to cut out. So let's say we had this area right here collapse. We'll do a little, kind of like a little area like that collapsed, okay? You delete that floor. Now, what has happened here is you've removed the room from that space. Counterproductively, it adds the wall back. You have to go into the wall tool and the wall room, and then go, you go to the place wall tool, and then you go to remove walls, and set the brush size smaller so you don't accidentally remove your outside walls, and then just quickly erase these walls. Okay, now notice here, this is a patch of ground, okay? This is outside. Dungeon Alchemist sees this space as outside, just like out here, okay? You can now take your terrain tool and edit that space because it's considered terrain. So let's go to, maybe let's start by making it look like black, dark rock, which would be like the foundation or maybe a pit underneath it, right? Next, we're going to go through and lower the terrain. We're gonna just set this intensity up all the way. Now, some of you are thinking, well, Mac, that doesn't look very deep. And you know what? It isn't going to be very deep for this demonstration. We built it water level. Now, if you wanted it to be as deep as possible under this to simulate like a huge fall, there's several ways to go about that. You can set your build height at mountaintop in the beginning, so you can cut as much floor underneath it as possible. Keep in mind your buildings will be up on top of the mountains, but when you start carving out the ground underneath it to simulate like a sunken terrain, that will have the most drop. Another way you can simulate this, right, is in post. So after you export this new map, open it in Photoshop and just take, you know, your brush and make it all dark there so it looks like kind of like an endless pit. Does that make sense? So you can paint it in by hand if you wanted to. Now you can start taking this environment and tooling it to make it seem like it broke. So we have like these ruined hardwood here. We can start putting some of them around the edges. In fact, I'm just going to change the whole hardwood to that, like it's kind of shattered, and then we'll put some holes here that broke. And now it kind of just seems like that hardwood that was solid before the foundation is collapsed. Now the floor is maybe buckling and sinking, and there's a hole here now, right? This is a great way also to put like pools or water in your home. You could take and fill this space with water using the terrain tool here, just by painting the... Okay, I'm going to show you this. So here you have water inside, if you wanted. Control Z, get rid of that water. But now you have a pit. And that pit, we can start filling it with objects. So let's say we have objects that are broken, right? So we want to find those first. I wish broken were all in their own category. So let's find a table that looks broken. I know we have some here. I could have sworn we had, like, abandoned, ruined assets that were broken. There we go. There's some broken tables, some flipped chairs. So we could have, like, a chair down here, maybe this thing like that looks like a broken whatever, you know, or something like this. And it just kind of simulates some furniture fell down in this pit. Yeah, you'd think I'd know that, right? But yeah, there's tons of broken assets we could just throw in there and simulate, you know, oh, there's a chair, there's this, and you could shrink them even to kind of give the feeling that it's further down, you know? So, say I had started this map as a new map and I set the water level at, or the build height at mountaintops. This right here would go way further down, like 4 or 5 floors. So that's basically a way to simulate a broken floor in a room or a pit that just happened. So essentially I have 2 maps. I would export map 2, right? Go to export, and now I have the second version of the same exact map, same exact room, just a floor that is, let's see what. You want me to put it in Foundry? Oh man, I'd have to set up a D&D 5e. Oh, the mountain one? Okay, let's do it. Fine. Okay, so there's map 1, right? So map 2, we essentially just assume I've already saved for map 2. We're going to delete the floor space here in the center, right? Where it collapsed out. I like to make it look random because that's a hole wouldn't be like perfectly square, right? Uh-oh. Went too far out in this pit. Then you go to the wall tool and then remove the walls. Just carefully erase the interior walls you just created. You know what? I made a mistake when I generated this map because I set my elevation as flat and I need to be up in the mountains. Okay, let's do this. Basically, you want to have as much terrain as possible before you generate your building. Let me show you why. So let's say you generated, like, if you want to have a big pit underneath. You know what I mean? So now this is up on top of a mountaintop, right? So let's just assume for a minute I'm just going to do a small little pit here in the middle that collapsed. Sorry for redoing all these steps again. Use the terrain tool. Go to the brush. Let's set it to the dark stone like we did before. It looks like we got something there. Move these little plants away. And then we're going to go to the terrain tool and just hit lower, set the brush strength. Now watch how it just goes way further down than last time. It goes to the bottom, the base of the map, basically. So keep in mind, if you had like a whole bunch of raised terrain, like if you had the whole map raised and then put a building on top, then yeah, you could do that. Either way. So you have both options. It's probably best to just go and say, like, browse Steam Workshop template. So you see these templates? So you could open like a 50 by 50 or a 30 by 30. This one's already raised up. Then you would take and... Uh-oh. No, I don't know if this template... Oh, it's at room placement mountaintops. So it should be. Let's see. Let's just try and generate a building here and see what it looks like. Yeah, nope, that one's way down there. So you want to, yeah, these are almost pointless unless you're trying to build mines. If you're trying to build rooftops, like, higher up, then it won't matter. So when you go to generate your map, it's very, very important that if you want to have a huge sunken out floor that you set mountaintops, you know, just set it up as high as you can, basically. Now, let's see here. Water, forest. So if your room placement is higher, that means we can just come in here. Let me show you what I mean, sorry. We'll go to raise terrain. Or like flatten terrain, and we'll flatten it to like this huge amount up here. And then we could put the building like before. I know I've demonstrated this like 3 times now, but you get the gist. Delete this little space here. Then you take the whatever and delete the walls again. I love the new wall eraser. Such a great quality of life improvement. Before it was like you had to highlight the wall perfectly. But yeah, at this point it's really just a matter of scoping the terrain out to make it the way you want. You know what I mean? Honestly, yeah, you could do this. Apply the same concept to a street. So what you're going to want to do, Bunny, is draw a road, right? So like you could have like a town square and this would all apply. So basically what you would want to do is say, in one of these, I know it says alley. 1 second. Alley. So that one here draws roads, right? You could do something like this. I'm just going to draw a huge section of road. And then you can remove the walls around it. Basically, it curates it, or you can, in the AI settings, tell it to generate without walls when you make it. That's how I like to do roads, and it cobbles it all. You can even tell it to get rid of objects in the AI, like, training here. And so it essentially just makes a road that you could do. And using the same technique I taught you before, deleting portions of the road out like that, you know, you would essentially... boom, go through the same process. It's a little, you know, it's got a little bit of a weird workflow, but yet again, same thing. I do love the AI tool for this. So, Probos, welcome to the community. Thank you for saying hi and for asking a question. In relation to your question, it is possible by hand to do multi-level building right now. But the AI won't be doing any multi-level building anytime soon. The devs have put it on the roadmap as it's been requested a lot, but it will require a lot of changes to the existing engine and retooling, mainly because the system that is 3D and this orthographic 3D starts becoming skewed at multiple levels. And so it has to be kind of retooled for that. And it will take some time. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, just because I said that doesn't mean it's not possible. So you can see there's a house here on this level. You can only generate the AI rooms on one level. But we have hundreds of objects under structural that can be cobbled together to make all sorts of structures and houses. There's wood structures, there's stone platforms and structures, and many of these snap together just like Lego. Let me show you what I mean. So I'll go down here and just hold shift and just keep putting out new ones. I'm gonna turn off collisions so it'll just kind of go wherever, and I can just stack them up. So here it kind of is like I'm building a bridge down here, or maybe a little castle structure, or a tower, or whatever. There's lots of different structures that allow you to do that. We also have some objects that look like homes already. Like the doghouse is one of my favorites. It looks like a little, shack, or like a tiny little villager home. You can place these at any height you choose. As you can see here, here's one up at this height. Or I could put it down in this pit just to give you an idea of a different height and location. So as long as you're willing to make concessions and place certain objects and building structures by hand, it's very, very possible to do multi-level. I'm going to do that next, actually. So one great structure that's like one map that is multi-level is a map I built when I first joined this community months ago. This cave, as you can see, I use the terrain tool to raise terrain up and have like flat level, tunnels, and I use catwalks and scaffolding to simulate multi-tiered verticality all throughout this mine. Pitfalls, stalactites and stalagmites, different wall facings, etc. And that was all a combination of AI-generated rooms mixed with hand-drawn terrain and hand-placed objects. So, Frobos, I know you're new to our community. You're barely scratching the surface of what you can do with Dungeon Alchemist. As you learn and grow with the app, you'll find that, you can place and put things by hand and not just rely on the AI to do everything. And it allows you to then start building on multiple levels. In the future, though, we do hope to expand to that to allow isometric building with the AI, but it's just something that isn't available right now. And I don't have a for certain date when it will be available. Excuse me. I hope that answered your question the best it could. Let me show you another map, actually, that has multi-tier building in it. Excuse me. So this map is a collaboration I did with one of our amazing cartographers. His name is Sack. We did this as a collaboration for Halloween. We made the Sanderson sisters' cottage. And as you can see, this is the cottage from Hocus Pocus. This is one of my favorite fan builds. And we basically put this together using, screenshots from the set and whatnot. And as you can see, there is multiple levels in this build. But we had to do this part by hand. We put in these wooden structures and then put scaffolding and, these wooden platforms on top of them to make kind of like a Minecraft multi-floor. You know what I mean? So it is possible in that, like, if you're willing to take the time to do it. But it's not necessarily supported for AI building in that regard. Favorite part of the entire map is the book with the moving eye. Well, thank you. I get it. I understand what you're going for. Like, that isometric style is really pretty. It's just that's not what Dungeon Alchemist was designed for. And after you get it past a certain point, it just starts looking wonky. You know what I mean? It doesn't hold up after a certain scale or a certain distance from the center, because everything is skewed from the center in our maps. Anyway, I appreciate you asking. Let's move on to another build here, and we'll check out some different stuff. Does anyone have any questions for how to accomplish something in a build before I move on? I did a preview earlier. I'll show it again really quickly. I only did one today because they gotta last. Technolo Junk, you are watching Dungeon Alchemist. This is the official channel for Dungeon Alchemist, and Dungeon Alchemist is an AI-powered map-making utility. It's available on Steam. I'll drop a link for you in chat. You can check it out. But basically, it is an application that allows you to build maps for your tabletop RPG campaigns. So games like Dungeons and Dragons, Pathfinder, etc. And we use heavily fantasy influenced themes and environments, and we are constantly updating and expanding the application. So basically our next update, which is hopefully releasing in January, is Winter Wonderlands, and so it's a winter biome or a tundra biome. So yeah, one major feature for Dungeon Alchemist is the generation of maps using AI, so it saves you a tremendous amount of time. So let me show you what I mean by that. We'll generate a new map for you. We'll have you make it, actually, okay? Is that cool, Techno? I'm gonna have you pick. We'll play Twitch Makes Maps. So if you could pick the terrain environment from this drop down, any of them except for Dark Parchment. Dark Parchment is just a black background. That's why I say not to use that one. So it's blank. So Badlands, Desert, Forest, Grasslands, or Jungle. You want to do Desert? Okay. Next, we're going to have you pick the elevation. So flat, dunes, large dune, mountains, ravine, flooded ravine, Grand Canyon, crater. Dunes is my favorite, so I'm glad you picked that. For vegetation, you can pick no vegetation, cacti, cacti saguaro, dense growth, or oasis. Cacti saguaro. Next, you can do no water, river, oasis, lakeside, island, or lake. Oasis, and then the last one is room placement. We'll just do it at water level. What this is it when you decide your room placement, when you go to generate a room using the AI later, it'll be placed at water level, plateau, or mountaintops for the rest of the build. So once you set this height, that's fixed for the rest of the build. So we're going to set water level. We're going to generate a map, and in just a second, as you can see, it generated a map using your parameters. Desert dunes with an oasis and cacti saguaro. Not bad at all. Now let's say you like this, but maybe you wanted to change it a little bit. You can click the terrain tab, and we can go to change terrain type. And let's say you like the vegetation, or maybe you wanted to change the vegetation to match the oasis, right? We can hit change terrain, and all of a sudden now we have oasis vegetation. Or we can do no vegetation. Or we can change it back to cacti saguaro and say do a river. Give it a second to generate that new environment. And as you can see, it rapidly generates environments given the precursors you guide it with. So it uses AI to randomly generate and rapidly generate environmental maps. In addition to that, buildings and environments within them. So let's say we wanted an abandoned temple here next to this river in the desert. And we'll generate that. And it filled that environment up and generated it randomly. It put all the windows and whatnot. If you hit this refresh button, you can regenerate it to something slightly different. Sometimes the AI tends to do the same thing here and there, and we're retraining and tooling the AI constantly. Sovereignty Twisted, how are you doing? Welcome, welcome. It's a very simple and clean interface. It's a very neat tool that allows you to, like I say, just rapidly generate environments. Do you play D&D, I'm assuming, Technolo? I'm doing great. I'm excited to celebrate the holiday here. Well, if you are, struggling with session prep as a dungeon master, this will help tremendously because it speeds up the process. Whether you're printing the maps at the end or you're exporting for, say, Foundry or Fantasy Grounds or Roll20, we support export for those built in, as well as print or just image only or universal VTT export. So you can export it right away, and when you export it for the big three, yes, it's awesome. It exports with wall, light, and line of sight information. With Roll20, you do need a pro subscription to take advantage of that, and that's because Roll20 forces you to do that. It has nothing to do with us. But for the other services, Foundry, Fantasy Grounds, it is very, very cool for that. I use it for Foundry. It exports right to it. So you export the map, import it to Foundry in a few steps, few clicks, and you're ready to go, and it has all the light and wall data right away. So stuff that would take hours. So currently, Sovereignty, you can only set your building, your AI builds, your AI buildings at one height. However, you can place objects at any height. We discussed this a few minutes ago, and what that means is there are some objects that'll actually work great in place of buildings, and other objects that can be cobbled together to make custom buildings. So if you go to Objects and Structural here, this tab, under stone, for instance, there's dozens of stone platforms, round ones that fit perfectly with our rounded walls. We have quarter platforms that can be put together. Or you have stone constructions that can be snapped together like Lego, etc. But unfortunately, that is the only way to do it for now. The devs have stated that it is on the roadmap, that it's something they'd like to tackle in the future, but there's no estimated turn time on that at this point. But yeah, basically Dungeon Alchemist allows you to make maps in a snap, including the, the rooms and the environment. And then if you want to, you can go in by hand and redecorate or build custom environments if you choose. So I've shown a few maps in the last few minutes. Some of them were generated with AI using a few clicks, and others took hours and hours of building by hand, meticulous building, such as the cave build I showed a few minutes ago. That definitely was not our AI. I would love it if our AI could do that, but it's not. Oh, yeah, you were talking about dam editing? Do that at your own risk, though. So like this build here was just dozens, I'd probably say about 24 hours editing. Make sure you, before you edit the damn file, save a hard copy of that damn as like the raw damn file. That way if the other one becomes corrupt, you can go back to that one. You know what I mean? Oh my gosh, I just noticed it's 2. Holy cow. Guess what, everyone? It's time to wrap up. Fjordar, we've actually, this has been asked quite a bit, and we've actually discussed it at length in this stream, but I'll cover it again. After we deliver on all our stretch goals from our Kickstarter, so if you're not aware, Dungeon Alchemist originated as a Kickstarter, and it's basically the Kickstarter was very successful. They hit all of their stretch goals. All of the stretch goals, you see them now as free updates. Fata Morgana, Abandoned Ruins, you know, etc. Those updates are those stretch goals, and they're now free updates for anyone who owns Dungeon Alchemist. But basically, let's see here. One of the lead developers, Vim Deher, I had him on the stream a few months ago for an interview, and this question was asked because Cyberpunk is asked if we can make cyberpunk themes. So Dungeon Alchemist, the Kickstarter, the promises we made are all fantasy-based themology, and all of the expansions will be fantasy-based. But once we deliver on all of those stretch goals and leave early access, he has said that they are considering doing paid expansions because there's been so much interest in cyberpunk, steampunk, modern, etc., etc., etc. And so as a result of the extreme interest, they are considering doing paid expansions above and beyond the fantasy theme that is promised in the Kickstarter once we, you know, leave early access. Does that make sense? So imagine like a $25 paid expansion with, you know, like a dozen or like maybe 20 different room types, you know, half dozen biomes and thousands of objects all in the cyberpunk theme that will work all within Dungeon Alchemist. And I'm not promising that, that's just say, like, that's a probability. Does that make sense? So I hope that answered your question there, Fjordar. Yeah, save early and save often. Yeah, that's right from my mouth, actually. Hey, thank you for being here on the stream. Have a happy holidays, Merry Christmas to you all. Safe travels. Highland Lass asked, are you going to stream next Saturday? Yes, I will be here next Saturday. That is New Year's Eve, actually, or New Year, the 30th or whatever, leading up to it. And that is actually when we're going to announce the winner of the current Dam Challenge. For those of you that are new to our community, we host a bi-weekly map-making challenge called the Dam Challenge. And the current Dam Challenge theme is Festive. You use that word as inspiration, and you make a map of any shape or size, and then you submit it in our Discord, in the Dam Challenge channel. I just dropped a link to our Discord for anyone who's not in our Discord. I highly recommend it. It is the hub of all things Dungeon Alchemist. It is the biggest chunk of our community all in one place. People share their maps. DMs share tips and tricks for their sessions and, you know, how to play. We have, you know, just, like, leaks and information about Dungeon Alchemist constantly being shared there. And it's just a bunch of like-minded fans who all like Dungeon Alchemist or DMs or play, you know, tabletop games and are looking for, you know, advice on their builds, etc. But we have a channel dedicated to the Dam Challenge, labeled Dam Challenge. You can submit your map there between now and the 30th. Actually, the 29th at night, and then we'll reveal the winner on the 30th on the stream. So I guess you have on the 30th until before the stream. And the winner is the first map that is featured on the stream that day, and they also win a $10 digital Hero Forge gift card. So you can use that gift card to buy a free token, or when they're on sale, maybe a couple of them, and use them in Dungeon Alchemist. So just so you're aware, there's a little bit more on the line now with the Dam Challenge. You can actually win something besides bragging rights. I saw that. Yeah, they were sharing drink recipes earlier. I didn't want to contribute because you know, you know, I want to have fun, but I also am paid to be the community manager, so I should probably not do that. Anyway, thank you so much for being here, everyone. I enjoyed this stream so much, and sorry for the crashes earlier. That was really random, and I apologize for that. We'll be back next Saturday. That is December 30th at noon p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. UTC. Same damn time, same damn channel. Again, my name is Mac. I am the community manager. This is the official channel for Dungeon Alchemist. We'll see you next damn time. Mac out.